Hi, this is our artistic representation by Katie Jeremy and Maddie Drake. Our intention was to create 4 canvases that each represented a different character in the crucible. We used coloring, fonts, and objects within the letters to truly capture the specific character's energy. We chose John Proctor, Paris, Elizabeth, Warren, and Abigail. I did Proctor and Abigail, while Maddie took charge of Paris and Elizabeth. First up is Proctor. Now, Proctor has a grayscale with purple accents. The black and gray represent the sin that he carried with him. So Proctor committed adultery and then lacks capacity to even forgive himself. He believes that his affair with Abigail damaged him in the eyes of God, his wife Elizabeth, and himself. The purple represents like mystery and magic, which is what he's all tied into, really. So the lettering, I used block letters, which I used to color in the middle of everything that I could. This kind of represents how he's just in the middle of everything. He's in the middle of arguments. And for example, like at the end, when he is in the middle of debating on signing the contract and like everything else and giving himself up to the court, he's in the middle of his wife, himself, the judge, everything. So the C, it has burnt pieces of paper on it, which is supposed to symbolize the contract that he didn't sign. And a quote that I have for that is, because it's my name, because I cannot have another in my life, because I lie and sign myself to lies, which is Miller on line 143. Now the T has a rope, and that situation led him to being hanged, which we signified here. Next, we have Abigail. Now, Abigail has a red background, which is supposed to represent the bloodthirsty nature of her and the danger that came with even being near her. People feared of being accused. So the red also has a connection to love and desire, which we connected to her affair with Proctor. So the letters are in cursive, as you can see. So it's supposed to represent like the sweet and innocent nature of the girl that she was trying to put across, to portray. And then we know what happens. The 19 dots around the A represent the total that she sent to their deaths by the accusations. She sent 19 people to their deaths in total. So on each eye, this one has a devil horn and this one has a halo. This just symbolizes the back and forth of her nature and her attitude, and how on the outside she's this girl and dainty and whatever, but actually she's a villain of the whole play. This example would be when Abigail accuses Tituba of witchcraft in Act 1. Abby says, "I never sold myself. I'm a good girl. I'm a proper girl." That's Miller on line 43. She then points at Tituba. "She made me do it. She made Betty do it." That's Miller on line 43. So the next person that we did is Elizabeth. Basically, her entire canvas is represented around the one part in the story when she was put on the stand to testify whether or not her husband had cheated on her with Abigail. And when she went on the stand, she tried to protect him and say that he hadn't done it when she didn't know that earlier he'd already admitted to doing it. So her name is written in broken letters to represent their broken marriage, but then the ring on the top of the B is to represent how she stuck with him through the affair. And then the color blue of the background is in different tones, and that color represents loyalty and confidence, which is what she had when she was up on the stand. And the quote, "She only thought to save my name," Miller on line 113, is what Proctor yelled out after Elizabeth was loyal and tried to protect him, even though it wasn't going to much help for her. The last person we did was Paris. His background is in different shades of green because green represents greed and jealousy. And Paris is shown throughout the story as a very power-hungry person. And then along with that, his letters are drawn very tall compared to everyone else's lettering. And this is to show how like he thought he was very, very important and quote big compared to everyone else. Then in the first scene, he's seen standing over top of his daughter's bed, and his daughter was very, very sick at that time. And so this makes the audience try to feel like bad for him, but in actuality, he was just really concerned that he was going to lose his position
as minister of Salem if people started to believe that there's witchcraft in his house, and he didn't want his reputation to be ruined. So that's where the jealousy comes in and the greed. Then the halo drawn above the eye represents his connection to the church with him being minister of the town. And then lastly, the eye is made out of tinfoil to represent like a metal, and how it's like metals are very strong, and how he's very strong in his decisions and beliefs, and like doesn't want to be swayed and can't be swayed, no matter what anyone tries to say and try to ruin his reputation.